And what we've kind of heard from people is, well, I mean, we're never going to lead the industry when it comes to revenue and everything like that, but we're certainly leading it as far as using these tools. No matter how big they are, they can all use these tools to reach out to people, especially the follow-up. I think that's the biggest thing that we look for here. And moving forward for 2010, it's kind of, the big thing will be following up with the people we've already met in the last year and continuing those relationships, because it's easy. They're a click away. They're 140 words away to say hi to someone that you met, and now you see them traveling. I mean, Jeff Pulver is one of those examples. If you follow Jeff, I'm sure you see on random occasions him saying good morning from Miami, Tel Aviv, New York, wherever he is, and all of a sudden, for an hour and a half, you see all these other people responding, hey, good morning, Jeff. Oh, good morning to you. And it's this interweb of people that really makes it important for us, that follow-up. Yep.
How much of the information that you're receiving back are you using the
Almost all of it in some capacity, probably. I mean, I think the biggest thing we've noticed is we're purposely putting our company on stage. We're certainly not a five-star hotel. I mean, we're like a bed and breakfast dropped into the middle of Manhattan. So we listen to see what people are saying is important. I mean, for stuff like this, power strips for the rooms, a little bit more modern. Our Wi-Fi, we upgrade that to Ruckus routers all throughout the hotel. And I mean, we've got some fast Wi-Fi here for the most part, and it's free. So I mean, these are things that we find important, things that we get back from people. And again, going to these conferences, we go and we speak at a lot of them, but we mostly want to listen, and see what people say to us. And one of the biggest things, I think, is referrals for a place to stay. I mean, my dream thing when I monitor the Twitter account is when I see no one I follow saying something to no one I follow about, oh, I see you're going to New York, you definitely got to check out at RS Hotel. I'm like, click, follow. Hey, thanks for the kind words. Wow, when are you coming? That's the key. It's just kind of listening to not just what people are saying directly to us, but to each other, and kind of eavesdropping in on all these conversations and responding to them quickly. I mean, literally, I probably spend 18 hours a day responding to stuff on Twitter. But it's necessary. It's needed. Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at basic numbers, I mean, a year ago we didn't have a Twitter account, and now we just went over 7,000 followers. And as a business that's not a global business, that's a single property, family-owned location, it's pretty good. We don't solicit followers. It's becoming, the snowball effect is definitely working. And as far as actual numbers for the hotel, food and beverage was 40% higher than the year before, in a year that was way off. Rooms. Adam and I, the rooms that we book in that we know of through Twitter and stuff, even though we offer specials, are on average $25 higher than our average rates, because a lot of rooms get sold through Travelocity and Orbitz and these things. The events business is a huge part of the food and beverage numbers. Again, the events business was over double of the amount of events that have been thrown in here. I think it's completely word of mouth, and then the experience. I mean, we've got, and it sounds kind of crazy, but in an audience like this, it doesn't sound like I'm trying to be a sycophant or anything, but I mean, Chris Brogan, Gary Vaynerchuk, iJustine, these people, they're friends of ours, so when they go talk about us, they're not pitching us. They all pay to stay here. We once in a while will comp one night if they're here for 10, but I mean, they're all paying customers that go and talk about us. They're not advertisements. So that goes so far. I mean, you say, just in those three people, just in Chris, Justine, and Gary, I mean, you're looking at a few million people that follow them. And so it's not just the first tier. Our 7,000 followers are great. If we have one, that's fantastic, but it's the way it tails out, and trickles out to the other communities. And it's the legitimate trickling out. It's not people pitching and selling. If we put a sign in the front window that says, hey, we have the best Bloody Marys in New York, you might walk by, you might believe it, you might not. If you're friends with someone and they say, wow, you have to go to this restaurant, they have the best Bloody Marys, you're going to listen to that. There's a trust, there's power to that. Yeah, absolutely.
How much time do you spend how do you realize that you have to build a budget? You want to draw out what
I answer everything. If I miss something, it's my mistake, quite honestly. From Facebook fan page to Twitter, to the blog. You know, usually if anybody leaves a comment, we'll follow up with a reply to the comment. Anybody ats us, I will immediately get back to them.
You're doing it more in a reactive or
Proactive is just, yeah, proactive is more conversational, more jumping in and seeing who's saying stuff. We do a lot of our blog posts. There's two women who just wrote a book called Beauty Pearls for Chemo Girls. Great book, and it's about, you know, helping women with their self-esteem and their fashion and their makeup and everything as they're going through chemotherapy. So I just did a blog post for her. You know, they're doing an event in another week or so. So we did a great blog post, put the links and all this stuff. And today somebody DM'd me and works for a company that sells pearls. And he's like, I want to donate pearls for the two women that you're making over for your event. I read your post. This is fantastic. So I got back to, I mean, we throw stuff out there not really to entice people to respond, but at least hopefully our audience is slowly building. And the blog is what really we're looking for this year to really create a lot more traffic on and put out stories that aren't hotel stories, but are kind of New York stories, personal stories, things that will attract all types of people no matter what. You know, we don't put out stories to elicit hotel sales or restaurant sales. We put out stories for people to read. That, you know, have nothing to do with the hotel, other than maybe I mean, obviously she's doing her event here, but it's not always event based. You know, it could just be fun stuff. Adam did a fun thing when he went to Amsterdam. He got a great interview with a guy from Lego who said they were hacked and people started messing around with their systems, and instead of suing them and doing this stuff, they waited to see what it would do. And because they hacked it, they basically opened it up for more people to start contributing. So they reached out to them and said, wow, you did us a favor. How can we work together? And it grew and grew, and it made their site better. So we put that story up. I mean, it has nothing to do with our hotel. It's, you know, it's Lego, and it's, you know, Amsterdam.
But it's about
but it's about the community, and it's about how that, you know, how that grew. So our big, I'll let Damien get going, but I think our big thing yeah, I could talk all the time. This is what I do, except on Twitter all day. And time-wise, like I say, I mean, I'm usually in the hotel by 8 in the morning, and I rarely leave before 10. And I'm usually here on weekends, at least kicking around. But it's because it has to happen. And we now have an intern that helps, and there are 2 of us that do it. But for the next year, our biggest goal is the culture of the hotel. Because of what we're doing, putting ourselves on stage, expectation, I think, gets elevated, and response. You know, people are going to start talking about us negatively if stuff is out there, and which is great. We'll respond to that and hopefully fix any misses. But changing the culture, our bartender is now on Twitter and actually got a request for an event coming up saying, I think she's Food Vixen NYC. Hey, you know, didn't realize Melissa was on Twitter. We request her for our event that's coming up in 2 weeks. You know, I mean, so the culture, I think we've got up to 19 people that work in the hotel or they're interns that have Twitter accounts now. They don't all actively. Yeah, not that they use it as much as they understand it.
Why don't you
know?
tell them about the person with the hotel room and the linens that you told me? Said like you tweet about that they took a picture of the laundry.
Linens. Linens. Yeah.
That just happened with, I do social media for Van Central, and in TweetFeed and Radio 6, there's these alerts, and this person's name I don't recognize, it might be a new employee, said, come on by, and I'll buy you a mojito. And he's not authorized to do that. Right, exactly.
Well, it's the people that are on it here. They have their personal accounts, which we do. I mean, I'm still the only person who tweets from the RS hotel. Whatever they say, I don't care. Quite honestly, I mean, if they say something badly, great, I'll see it, and then I'll go.
So much as promising something for the hotel.
That's fine. I'll back them up.